But we have also just learned that one of the closest people to Hillary Clinton, with long-standing ties to her and her husband, the closest person, I can tell you that, gave more, listen to this, just happened yesterday, gave more than $675,000 to the campaign of the wife of a top FBI official who oversaw the investigation into Mrs. Clinton's illegal email server. In other words, the man who was in charge of the investigation of Hillary Clinton accepted, essentially, from Hillary Clinton, $675,000 that went to his wife. Never happened before. Never happened. Not in this country's history.
Lock 'em all
This is
up.
a disgrace, and she shouldn't be allowed to run for president. She shouldn't be allowed. She's a crook. Remember this. Remember this. Just remember this. So important. Donna Brazile, head of DNC, got the answers to a debate and the questions to a debate. So she has the questions.
It's rigged.
She gave them to Crooked Hillary.
It's
And I don't know if
rigged.
you saw Donna Brazile the other night on television. What a mess that
Call
was,
them out
the way
already.
she
Call
didn't
them
know
out.
what to do. Well, how did you get them? They were sent by Russia. You know, they're always using Russia, like I have nothing to do with Russia. They were sent by Russia and Donald Trump, you know. These people, and yet they have more because Hillary Clinton gave them 20% of our uranium. Gave Russia for a big payment. And her man has to do with Russia. The whole thing, they're a bunch of crooks. I'm telling you, our country is in such trouble. So Donna Brazile has the questions. She gives up to Crooked Hillary. Okay, now here's what I'd like. Wouldn't it be great if Crooked Hillary, you know, it's funny, I wonder if she had the questions the other night to our debate, because everybody tells me I killed her in that debate. So Donna Brazile gives her all of the questions. And what happens?
Can't answer.
Hillary should turn them in, of course, right? Listen, I can't do this. She didn't turn them in. She used them. And we found out through WikiLeaks that this happened. And nobody goes after her. Can you imagine if I got the answers or the questions? It would be the electric chair, right? No. It would be the biggest story in the world. And they're not doing anything with Donna Brazile. And they're not doing anything with Crooked Hillary Clinton. She got the answers to a debate. She got the questions to a debate. And she didn't turn herself in. Meaning, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to have this. By the way, what a great act that would have been if she did it. We would have all been shocked if she did it. But wouldn't that have been nice?
She lied.
The criminal conduct of Hillary Clinton threatens the foundations of democracy. I mean that. But we're going to turn it around, folks.
Yeah, we are.
I proposed a contract with the American voter that will give the government back to the people.
Yeah!
You know this. I didn't need this. I didn't need this, but I was doing very well on the other side. I was, you know, definitely doing well. I didn't need this, but I'll tell you, I love our country. I had to do it. I see where our country is going, and it's not good.
You're the man!
Really bad. My contract begins with a plan to end the rampant government corruption and to put the special interests out of business.
Drain that swamp! Drain that
I want
swamp!
everyone in Washington to hear and to heed the words I'm about to say. If we win on November 8th, we are going to Washington, D.C., and we together are going to drain the swamp. a series of ethics reforms on day one to end government corruption. They include a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. A lifetime ban on government officials lobbying for a foreign government. Do you believe it?
Forget about it.
They get out, they lobby for it, they make a fortune. A total ban on foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections.
What kind
Thank
of
you
shit
very
is
much.
that?
We don't need that. Under my contract, I'm also going to take a series of actions on day one to protect American workers. We are living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. They are taking our companies, they are taking our jobs, and our politicians, many of whom are stupid and many of whom are corrupt, are allowing it to happen. We're not going to allow it any longer. Our nation has lost 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, a deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported strongly by Hillary Clinton. And by the way, the single worst trade deal ever made in history, anywhere. Listen to this. Hard to believe. I've told you before, I thought this was a typographical error. We've lost 70,000 factories since China entered the World Trade Organization, WTO. Another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster, but they've been nicely paid. Look at all the money they have pouring in. $250 million, and they've been in government. It's a good government job. My contract includes the following. We will renegotiate NAFTA or withdraw from the deal to get a much better one for our workers and our company. It's a one-way street, you know what I call it? It's a one-way highway right into Mexico. They get our jobs, they get our money, they get our plants and factories. You know what we get? Drugs and unemployment. That's what we get. We get nothing. It's a defective agreement too, totally defective. We will withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, another beauty. The deal Hillary Clinton called the gold standard, and then during the debate she lied. She said, I never said that. Unfortunately, at the next debate they announced she did say it. And she also said she never was Secretary of State when they talked about the red line in the Senate. I wasn't Secretary of State then, right? Remember? I wasn't Secretary.
She doesn't tell the truth.
She lied. She lied. Even the so-called fact checkers, who are really crooked as hell themselves, right? These fact checkers, they'll check facts with me and I'm like 99% right. And they'll say, and therefore, he lied. So, I'd gone through them where I said, oh, good, finally. They said, and therefore, he lied. Oh, boy, these people are bad. What a group of people we have. What a group of dishonest scum we have. Hillary's Wall Street donors want, and she'd approve it. If she ever got the chance, she will approve TPP so fast, and she intends to. Tim Kaine has even left the door open to passing TPP by another name. Let's change the name. And by the way, folks, we're going to win. Yes. But regardless, don't let it happen. It's too complicated. You do one deal with another. One. Make individual deals with individual nations. Deal with the ones we want to deal with. You got to see what this thing looks like, a piece of Swiss cheese. And if they default, you send them a letter of default. And by the time that 30-day notice ends, you'll have a new deal that's even better. This deal is too complicated. It's almost 6,000 pages long. And here's the thing. All of these other countries, they've read every single word, every comma, every period, every paragraph. I'll bet we have nobody that even reads these things, okay? And you're talking about bigger than running big companies. These are bigger deals. You can take a modest-sized trade deal. It's bigger than these big companies. And we have people that are political hacks negotiating. Not anymore. We have the greatest, I'm endorsed by some of the greatest business people in the world. We're going to use our great business people to make these deals. We will lift the restrictions on the production of American energy, which is getting clobbered with the EPA, and by the way, and with the restrictions, including shale, oil, natural gas, and clean coal. We're putting our miners back to work. Hillary wants to shut down American energy and put the miners out of work. She said, we want the mines and the miners out of work. That's nice. Horrible. We're going to put the miners, the steel workers, and so many of our other workers that are being clobbered by the stupidity of our government's leadership. We're going to put them back to work, and that includes the steel workers. It's going to happen fast, folks. It doesn't take a long time, folks. It's going to go fast. Additionally, on the first day, I will take the following actions to restore the rule of law.
Yes.
These include, I will cancel every illegal Obamacare executive order. We'll cancel all federal funding to sanctuary cities.
Yes.
We will suspend immigration from regions comprised of radical Islamic terrorists.
Yes.
Including the suspension of the Syrian refugee program, which is taking in thousands and thousands of people that we have no idea where they come from, no idea who they are. And crooked Hillary Clinton wants to have that increased by 550%
We can't
over
have
and
it.
above the crazy Obama numbers.
We can't have it.
Tell you what, you vote for her, you're crazy.
We're
okay?
dead. We're dead.
She is the worst. Next, I'll work with Congress to introduce a series of legislative reforms and will fight for their passage in the first 100 days of my administration. And this legislation quickly includes Middle Class Tax Relief and Simplification Act. So essentially, a middle-class family with 2 children will get about a 35% tax reduction. Isn't that nice? It's not bad. The middle class in our country has been devastated. And by the way, crooked Hillary wants to raise your taxes up to the sky. She wants to raise, we're the highest tax nation in the world. She wants to raise your taxes right up to the sky. And the Offshoring Act establishes tariffs to companies from laying off their workers and relocating to other countries, which is a disaster for us. We have companies, all of them. I could name 100 if you have all day. You could name 1,000. They close, they move to Mexico or some other place. They make their product, they sell it to us. We end up with unemployment all over. We end up with no taxes. We end up with closed plants. And they make a fortune in the other countries. So here's the story, folks, and I say it, whether it's cars, air conditioners, they want to close up and put our people out of work, go someplace else, build a new plant. And you know, the friend of mine who said all that he's never seen, the 8th wonder of the world, he said the plants and factories that he's building in Mexico, Donald, he's the biggest, is the 8th wonder of the world. I said, what about the United States? He goes, not so much. Nothing. It's so sad. It's so sad. So they want to build something, and they want to have their new plant, and they want to have non-U.S. workers. That's fine. Everything's fine. But they're going to pay a 35% tax every time that air conditioner car comes across the road. And you know what? Nobody's going to move. Here's the story, folks. A couple of politicians said, I've never thought of that. Can't think of it. They've been working on this thing for 10 years. They never thought. So either they're taken care of or they're stupid, right? Or both. So here's what's going to happen, though. Nobody's going to move. And if they do move, that's okay, too, because we're going to make a fortune, okay? So it's not the worst thing in the world. American Infrastructure Act. $1 trillion in public-private infrastructure investment. This includes help for projects like expanding the Orlando Sanford International Airport. You like that idea? They've been looking to do it for a long time. And illegal immigration, I have to tell you, our infrastructure, folks, is a mess. We're like a third world country. We have